Hello, my name is Ben Lamore, and I'd like to do a brief review of my favorite movie that came from the 1980s, early 1980s, called First Blood, and give you my take on and my viewpoint on this movie. I also, I'll be reading from a transcript of from my blog, Ben Lamore, at WordPress.com, and it goes something like this: John J. Rambo drifts into a town where the police, as in all communities, have a monopoly on violence. He neither harms nor threatens anyone. He's hungry and just wants to get something to eat. But Big Brother is watching him, and before he has a chance to rest himself at the local cafe and spend his last few remaining dollars for a bite to eat, he encounters what I call Super Cop, the brave and mighty watchdog of the community who comes to the rescue and begins to harass the peaceful traveler John Jay. Orders him to leave town immediately and also denies him of his much needed meal. John, who does not seem to understand that in post Vietnam America, we have no rights. Only those that they, the state, allow us to have, asks the costume wearing brute, "Why are you pushing me?" What John does understand, however, is that he is a human being who is endowed by his creator with certain inalienable rights, among which are the right to purchase food and eat. So, as we all remember from the film, John defies the orders of the local tax feeding thug and begins to walk back to town from where Super Cop had dropped him off earlier to exercise his God given rights and get a decent meal. Super Cop then returns and denies him of his rights, kidnaps and incarcerates him. While in lockup, Super Cop's fellow thugs in costume then proceed to harass, mock, torture, and beat him. John then begins to exercise another God given right, the right to self defense. Rambo, a liberty loving man, fights his way to freedom. The corrupt band of thugs relentlessly pursues him, and the fight is on. The corrupted powers of the state versus John J. Rambo. Being a peace loving man, he doesn't kill them, he just inflicts a little pain. The next day, they have him cornered at the edge of a cliff. They shoot at him and try to kill him. Rambo then takes a fall that would have killed most men, but he survives. In the process of continuing to defend himself, he inadvertently and unintentionally kills one of the thugs. He then tries to surrender himself. "I don't want any more dead," he says. They shoot at him, again trying to murder him. This now brings all-out war between John Jay and the state, as John exercises his right to self-defense and freedom. We all know the outcome of that war: the massive numbers of tax feeders of the patriarchal order, who by force of arms maintained their monopoly of violence, were much too great of an adversary for John to overcome, at least without killing them all. John is a good man, and he doesn't want any more dead, except maybe the cruel community watchdog that drew First Blood, hence the name of the movie. And so, John was forced to submit and surrender himself to the prostituted powers of the state. Or rather, he was persuaded to surrender by the compassionate Colonel Samuel Troutman, his former commander in Vietnam. He was then unjustly consigned to years of hard labor and slavery by the hands of his captors. Rambo lost his freedom that he loved so much. What should have happened to John Jay? What should they have done with this freedom-loving man who had the moxie to stand up for his rights and defend himself against his oppressors? If this movie were a real-life drama and I were a real-life judge during his trial, I would have set him free, acquitted him of all charges, and ordered the state to take him to the local cafe and pay for his meal. In addition, if I were able, and if he were willing, I would have also made him the new town sheriff. And I think he would have made a good one. Sheriff Rambo. I have loved this movie from the first time that I saw it at the Straw Hat Pizza Restaurant in Citrus Heights, California, during their all-you-can-eat buffet lunch hour. Nothing like a good movie and pizza. Signing out, Ben Lamore.